I can't tell you how many funerals I have attended. And not only just working them, but I've been there. We buried a lot of people in my family. There is no doubt those who live their life with the idea that they're going to live forever and avoid the issue of death. I got to tell you, no one has succeeded in avoiding that. Death is inevitable. Uh, and so, if you don't have a legacy, and I have 2 centuries of it, now is a good time to start. Because, as far as I can tell, they're still making time. And time will go on. Uh, I am a product of a legacy that is part of the soil. We come from the soil, we'll go back to the soil. Uh, they say it at your funeral when they sprinkle the flowers over your casket or your grave. You know, dust to dust. That is the reality of life. You get comfortable with it because it is real. I and so this land is everything to me. Uh, and the fact that we start from here and we end here, uh, everything in between is the legacy that you create. And when I look at those people, you know, it seems like another planet, but it was right here. There were slaves here. There were people who were owned by other people. They worked it out. They figured it out. And when people died to solve the question of whether people were people, uh, those same people then turned around and conveyed the land, and it went forward. Life goes forward. And so this land is a lesson. It's a lesson for my kids. It's a lesson for other people's kids that, this story does not switch scenes. It happens here. They're not making more land somewhere else where there's a new story. We just occupy stories on top of stories on top of stories. Our obligation is really to make sure that we don't forget the stories that we've been told and passed along. So this story, I hope, will go on 200 years from now. Someone will say, there was Arvetta, Barnett Wright, Ben Wright, there was Herman Wright Jr., Herman Wright Sr., there was Roosevelt and Maggie Coleman, there was May Coleman Wright. There were all these people, and let me tell you a story about them. And it will help them in so many ways to go forward and to tell their children the stories that will be added to their story. Just like I tell the story of Jim and Winnie Schenkel. Just like I tell the story of James and Rachel Frazier. Otherwise, people who will have gone on and are basically forgotten. Well, they're not forgotten with me. They're fresh. They're alive. And I hope that 200 years from now, somebody will tell my story, my dad's story, my wife's story, and it will be there for them like it's there for me. Anyway.